Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Wednesday, 7th of June 2023. This day is celebrated as the World Food Safety Day. On 7th June 2023, will draw the attention to food standards. 1893, Mahatma Gandhi carried out the first act of civil disobedience on 7 June 1893. Mohandas Gandhi, then a young Indian lawyer recently arrived in South Africa, was asked to shift from the first class compartment of the train, even though he had a valid ticket, just because he was not white signal. Studying the newspaper, analysis with the newspaper, the Hindu states that GDP growth numbers and GST collections figures can't hide economic distress. Congress. The Congress leader added that the level of the economic distress in India was something that they have repeatedly witnessed during the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Senior Congress leader Jairam Ramesh said the only time the demand for the work under MD Narega was during the once in a century pandemic. The Hindu newspaper also states that speculation rife about Sachin Pilot floating new party. Congress leader Sachin Pilot's supporters in the state are in a muddle over his demands, calling for action on corruption and the exam paper leaks, which remain unaddressed. The Hindu newspaper also states that United States NSA Jake Sullivan to visit New Delhi next week ahead of Prime Minister Modi's Washington visit. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Going towards the Indian Express newspaper states that border situation with India stable brooks no interference of the third party China. Spokesperson of the Chinese embassy in India, Wang Zhejian, said China is a contributor to the world peace and prosperity. Reacting, United States Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin remarks that the world witnesses bullying and coercion from Beijing. China Tuesday said the United States resorts to all types of the measures for coercion and hegemony instead. Spokesperson of the Chinese embassy in India, Wang Zhejian. Indian Express also states that government willing to have a discussion with the protesting wrestlers, says Sports Minister Anurag Thakur. The statement comes 4 days after Union Minister Amit Shah met a delegation of protesting wrestlers at his official residence in the capital. Minister of the Youth Affairs and Supports of India Anurag Thakur has tweeted that the central government is willing to have a discussion with the protesting wrestlers. Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur with the wrestlers Bajrang Punia, Vinesh Bhogat, Babaita Bhogat, Sakshi Malik and Ravi Dania addresses a press conference at his residence in January. Indian Express also states that a short history of China's rise as a space power, the successful completion of the Shenzhou 15 mission and the glitch-free launch of Shenzhou 16 underscore the strength and scope of China's space program. In recent years, it has become one of the few countries to reach Mars, build its own space station, and launch an increasingly large number of rockets in the space. This photo, released by Xinhua news agency, shows a screen image captured at a Beijing Aerospace Control Center on May 30, 2023 of the crews of Shenzhou 15 and Shenzhou 16 taking a group pictures inside the core module Tinhai of China's space station. Going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit, United States hails India's critical role on the global stage. President Joe Biden's top official for the Indo-Pacific region said on Tuesday he hoped a visit month by the Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi consecrates the relationship with India as the most important for the United States in the world. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, United States Joe Biden and Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi and greeted by Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida right during their arrival of the Quad Leaders Summit. Hindustan Times also states that Sachin Pilot weighs his options aimed churn in Congress Rajasthan unit. Rajasthan Congress leader Sachin Pilot is still weighing his options, which includes setting up his own political outfit, but any decision is unlikely to take place on June 11 on the occasion of his father Rajesh Pilot's death anniversary. Cyclone Biparjoy to intensify how it will impact the weather monsoon in India. Cyclone storm Biparjoy over east central and adjoining southeast Arabian Sea is likely to move nearly the northwards and gradually intensify into a severe cyclonic storm in the next few hours. According to the Indian Meteorological Department, it is expected to further intensify into a very severe cyclonic storm over the same region during the subsequent 24 hours. Cyclonic Biparjoy, a man with an umbrella stands over the fishing boats stationed along the beach. Going towards the economy of the country, growth in India is expected to slow to 6.3% in the financial year 2023 World Bank report. The World Bank made these points in its latest edition of the Global Economic Prospects. India will not face any shortage of coal this year. Coal Minister Prahlad Joshi says no matter what the demand is this year, the government is prepared to meet the same, said Coal Minister Prahlad Joshi. NSE raises a price band of 4 Adani Group companies. NSE raised the price band of 4 Adani Group's firms including Adani Power and Adani Transmission. Going towards the world news, including shooting at Virginia High School graduation, 2 dead, 5 injured as gunman opens fire in Richmond. Collapse of major dam in southern Ukraine triggers emergency as Moscow and Kyiv blame each other. China has closed unofficial police stations in the United Kingdom. Ukraine brands Russia terrorist state to open hearings in case against Moscow at the top United Nations Court. Prince Harry makes landmark court appearance in the phone hacking case. China-Russia launch a joint air patrol alarms South Korea. Going towards the science and technologies, Chhattisgarh tribal green warrior motivates the community to grow forest on 400-acre land. With a community-based approach to the conservation, a 74-year-old tribal farmer in Chhattisgarh, Bastar district has turned 400 acres of land in his village into the sprawling forest image of representation. World lived through a pandemic and India played a critical role. World Health Organization scientists says a report praised India for the way it has managed its G20 responsibilities despite complications and the tensions around the world. World's oldest known burial site found in the South Africa. Researcher Lee Berger holds a reconstruction of the skull of Homo naledi at Magaliesburg, South Africa, Thursday, September 10, 2015. In research released on Monday, June 5, 2023, scientists say they have found evidence that the ancient human cousin buried its dead and carved symbol into a cave walls. Actions previously tried only to bigger brained species. Over emitting nations, India's $1,446 per capita until 2050 as climate compensation study. The findings are notable against the backdrop of international negotiations over a loss and damage fund to help economically developing and underdeveloped countries pay for climate adoption. At last, there's a famous quotation said by M.K. Gandhi, whose full name is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Birth anniversary 2nd October 1869 up to 30 January 1948. Was an Indian lawyer, anti-colonial nationalist and a political atheist who employed non-violent resistance to lead the successful campaign for the Indian independence from the British rule. He inspired movements for the civil rights and freedom across the world. The honorific Mahatma, Sanskrit great Shawl, the Venerable, first applied to him in 1914 in the South Africa, is now used throughout the world. Mr. Gandhi says a famous quotation. He says that the future depends on what we do in the present. Okay, thank you.